Greetings, salutations. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Card here with our partner in crime,
Hey guys, what's up? It's OTK.
and we're here for episode, I believe, 5 of Soul Leveling. Yeah, it's been already 5 weeks. Is that right? Damn, yeah, because it's February 1st. Crazy. It's a whole new month. Yeah. So building off of last week, I believe that we're going to get a lot of things. Love at first sniff. That's one. Kayla, she's like, wait, what? Like, I don't know what the fuck that man's talking about. That might be happening, and then I think we're gonna have a brutal cliffhanger, if what I remember correctly from the webtoon happens. So yeah, I guess there's nothing else to do but to press this play button, and you already know. We'll jump right into it. Love the intro, but copyrights. Good song by Lisa. Good song. And Felix. Him too. Yeah, with your got lost with all, you know, had a dagger in your hand and everything. Okay, I was like, wait, what is going on with that? They'll explain it in due time. So love at first sniff. He probably did, you know. Take all the opportunities, little brother. What's the reasons? My man is going to town. Mind you, all pun intended. His shadows would be doing all the mining work.
Bye.
Feel like, yeah, I ain't trying to die just in case, you know. And stronger. Braver and stronger. Clean character designs. These are the girls that were in season 1 that have been chatted in the cafe, which is what they build the anime filler around. As Kayla said, they're just babies.
No, they aren't.
Oh man.
Babies, I hate this.
Squad. They didn't feel nothing. Yeah, he's not drawing the aggro. Yeah. Oof. Man's arm is gone. And man's arm is back.
She was brave enough to just accept death, but it's like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Like, my man just had his literally his ankle cut because they can't see Sunjin making it weaker. Yep. He's like, I'm just gonna give a little of an assist.
Yeah.
Oh man. My man Sunjin was like, all right, I'll take out the strongest one because you're like, you gotta stay out of this, my brother. No one was hurt. A man lost his arm.
Got a plan smart.
Yeah.
You can't get out?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Intimidation.
Yeah. Oh. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man.
Wheezy?
Oh man. Now you have no choice.
At least walking there buys them time to strategize.
Mm.
短いですが遺言です。私の数はせん。でもあなたは違います。どうか生きて。
Okay, music. Okay, OST. Okay, OST. Yo, that's a lot of orcs.
It's so funny that we were having that conversation about animated battles
Yeah.
before the episode started. So I want to say about like Hunter Cha.
Yes.
Okay. I completely understand the heightened sense of smell because as
Mhm.
a regular person, I already have that.
Yeah.
And um it makes the most sense, especially in this kind of thing where a magical system gets put in place into your body that
Mhm.
heightens your senses. And I'm sure for certain people it's different, so I completely understand, like, it makes sense that her sense of smell is heightened to the point where she can identify
Mhm.
different types of people and things just by her nose, right?
Yes.
And it makes sense that hunters have a different smell from other people, how humans have different smell from monsters. It's just like we have different smell from animals.
Yeah.
It's all actual logical
Mhm.
sense here. So
Yeah.
the fact that that Jinwoo is even asking, like, does he have a different smell because he's the player, that also
Mhm.
makes sense
Mhm.
because, like, he remembered the elf captain said the same thing, you don't smell human.
Mhm.
um and it's obvious he's not a monster because I'm sure she knows how monsters smell. So he is something different. He's a
Mhm.
third.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and that
Mhm.
makes sense considering all the extra precautions that the game itself has put into him, and all the extra training that he's done, and all the leveling up, so to speak, within his
Yeah.
internal system and his outer system. So yeah, that makes it. I mean, it's the notion and the idea of too, like, we can change our natural body odors
Yeah.
by what we ingest, by what we do, by what things are in our body. And I know this for a fact because like I said, my
Mhm.
sense of smell is a little crazy. I know, like, when I take certain things, it within a week it'll change my biome, and I
Mhm.
can smell it. If my dog is sick, I can smell it. It's really weird. It's not
Mhm.
my it's one of my favorite things about me, one of my least favorite things about me, because when
Mhm.
things bother me, things really
Yeah.
bother me. Like, I can smell blood in water so quickly.
Mhm.
It's it's crazy. Anyway, so to me, because I can relate to
Yeah.
her, it makes sense why she would be attracted to that. Because if I could find someone that,
Mhm.
you know, because since I'm so sensitive to smells, if
Mhm.
I could find someone that doesn't smell like everyone else and doesn't agitate my system,
Mhm.
it would intrigue me, and I would want to find out more.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you so different that you smell this way?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really cool that that's the thing that actually happens, and it makes sense even within context of this fantasy system.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that fight, like, okay, so if you guys on our anime channel don't know, we also have a TV channel. We just finished Castlevania Nocturne season 2.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched Castlevania and Castlevania Nocturne, you really need to do yourselves a favor and go ahead and watch that.
Yes.
But our reactions
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
our reactions for season 2 are up on that channel. But I don't believe, like, I
Well, it
think
was
we're
just
only
yeah. So on the long form at the moment, only on season 1, episode 2.
right,
So pretty much within a week or so,
right,
over the next 10 days, the other episodes will be up. So
right.
yeah,
So I don't want to spoil anything, but the show has been out for about 2 weeks now,
yeah,
and there's an epic team battle that happens at the end of season 2
yeah,
that we were so blown away by. And we discuss it at length whenever
yeah.
that video goes up. But we were talking about it because Mike mentioned that someone commented on his other
Yeah.
channel about how the fight with the ice elves is better than the fight in that. And because
Yeah.
you guys haven't seen it, well, we don't know if you've seen it or
Yeah.
not. I'm not trying to spoil it for you, but we're discussing the different dynamics of team battles,
Mm-hmm.
how that show Nocturne has animated it and created it
Yes.
with the OST, um, with the sound design, and just with the animation design itself compared to the elf battle.
Mm-hmm.
And just understanding for us contextually, it does not equate, right?
Yeah.
The battle at the end of season 2 Nocturne is by far better than that. This fight here kind of gave me the same feel. I still think
Mm-hmm.
that fight scene is still better,
Yeah.
but this, because it was a team effort and we got
Yeah.
to see everyone participate, but still feel the dire consequences that I felt
Mm-hmm.
in that fight in Nocturne. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this is what we should be
Yeah.
talking about. There's something here. And it made me, obviously it's meant to have us all recall episode one. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's making Jinwoo recall episode one, so it's meant to invoke those feelings for us
Mm-hmm.
about how you can have a group of people, de- but depending on your rank and your skill level and your emotional state, can really either turn the tides for you or
Mm-hmm.
against you, right? And this is a team that is more well established, more in touch with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and knows what is going into it, right? So
Yeah.
this is kind of like this episode is kind of like the first episode in the sense that not that this is two dungeons happening, but it's two circumstances happening,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's they went in there with one expectation only to be met with something way above their pay grade, so to speak.
Yeah.
But they're facing it in a way that is in a team effort.
Yeah.
Like they have each other's backs, they're doing their best. You have your captain who even like your leader in the first episode, the
Mm-hmm.
older gentleman is like, it's the same thing, like thinking smart, not thinking
Mm-hmm.
like we just got to push through, right?
Yeah.
They're like we know we got to regroup, we got to think this over, we got to play smart. But how quickly that fell apart. I mean, those situations were
Yeah.
dire. We haven't even gotten to how powerful the orc
Mm-hmm.
mage is, so we don't know if we can compare it to the second dungeon's
Mm-hmm.
god keeper,
Mm-hmm.
gatekeeper. Obviously, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but so I'm just going off of like what I mean by how you could have a group of people who have camaraderie
Mm-hmm.
but are and it's understandable. I'm not saying that those
Mm-hmm.
people weren't warranted in their fear
Yeah.
for their lives and their need to survive, because that's a scary fucking situation. This is a
Yeah.
scary fucking situation too. But even as Jinwoo notes that it's different,
Yeah.
they know they didn't even need to told when to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
They just were ready to throw hands. Everyone had everyone's back,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all talking smartly and understanding, right?
Yeah.
And they have a captain who the team respects, right?
Yeah.
There's no infighting. Everyone's there for a purpose. But now they're confronted with something different. Now, for Jinwoo, since he's not the kid he was in the first episode, he's something completely different. He's a different
Mm-hmm.
man now. How much of his involvement is going to happen, and how much of his secret is going to get out? And I
Yeah.
really give it to the creator of this to show the parallels in between that and this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how people going in, because I think that was also one of my other things too in the first like two episodes, talking about like, I understand being afraid, but you signed up for this,
Yeah.
right? And the girl says it, the woman says it, she's like, yeah, this is what we signed up for, we know what our job is. And it's like, that's my
Yeah.
sentiment too. You know what this job is, at every turn something's getting. If you guys have a rank system, that means the monsters have to have a rank system too.
Yep.
You're bound to run into someone more powerful. You're bound, if the monsters don't always go home safe, if
Mm-hmm.
the little babies don't always go home safe, you know that you
Yeah.
aren't always going to go home safe or at all.
Yep.
It's just the name of the game and just how it works out. So I really respect it, and how everyone like was just really like, yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is, guys.
This is
It is what it
this
is.
is everyone immediately was just like, it sucks that we're gonna die here, but
Yeah.
at least you, Sunjiwoo, can make it out and
Yeah.
alert the main team, the
Yeah.
the team of S ranks and whatnot, so that they said they'll hold the fort to make sure. So the term we'll use is dungeon break. Won't mean much this particular season, but that's the thing that they've talked about beforehand. Like, if the dungeon isn't defeated in a certain amount of time, then there could be something called a dungeon break. So it's like holding the fort. Obviously the appraisers didn't do a good job of appraising the dungeon, and this is now the third time, right? So something's happening, on that side where these dungeons keep getting appraised, but there's more powerful enemies than initially thought, right? And if it happens once, you'd be like, that was a random chance. It happens, right? If it was twice, Redgate, you're like, all right, sun's obviously up. Third time, all right, it's like one of those things.
Someone's not doing their job, and they're not doing their job on purpose. It's a conspiracy.
They're not do their job on purpose, or something crazy is happening. But like with these guys,
or it could be like obviously so I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah, that's why
speculating.
I'm just like
It
I'm not
could,
trying to
yeah,
give anything
it
else away. Yeah.
it could be someone's not doing their job on purpose, right? Because since Jinwoo's dad, we already know, got trapped there, he knows a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more about the system. The system is also known to us by creating the player in
Mm-hmm.
Jinwoo, right? So it can be that it would be surprising if other people, like, it really would be stupid for us to assume that in this great wide world no one else has cotton on to
Mm-hmm.
certain aspects of the gates and stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
magical system, right? That would
Mm-hmm.
be really dumb of us to assume. Because as it showed, these gates open all around the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? So someone at some point has had to pick up on something. Or it could be that since we know that there is a higher power, that people are going in to appraise these dungeons, and it's just like, okay, yeah, it is this. But then as soon as they leave, the system is like, well, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add a little extra. I'm gonna add a little extra for the
Yeah, a
people who
little
walk in here
extra
to
seasoning.
to test the humans that walk in here to see what's going on. Or third option, because Jinwoo is involved,
Mm-hmm.
the system is testing him.
Mm-hmm.
So because obviously it has, for some reason,
Yes, the system.
I
Yeah.
mean, he it offered it to him. I'm sure, like, if someone else had survived in that first episode, it's possible. We don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that the system itself would have offered it to that other person too. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No one else survived, or they left.
Mm-hmm.
But now since he accepted the offer, the game is like, all right, let's see what we can do with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those are the three options. Either someone isn't doing their job, the system itself is throwing in a little extra sprinkle
Mm-hmm.
to test just hunters in general, or the system is just actively testing Jinwoo himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that the mage girl was just like, peeped his game Jinwoo's game real quick. I was just like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna blow up his spot, but
Yeah.
like, it'd be silly for him to think that people aren't gonna notice him. But also, I understand needing to act and
Yeah.
not think about the consequences of the action, right? So yeah, it's this was a very, like, I think the fight was really cool. I
Mm-hmm.
really was at the edge of my seat because we already know people die,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we knew in Castlevania Nocturne people die too,
Mm-hmm.
but we know with this, we've seen people get obliterated.
Yeah.
Um,
Man's lost his arm in this battle, and if one of the three healers wasn't there, yeah, he would have
yeah.
been comatose.
Yeah, but yeah, it's also one of those things too where I just love fantasy team battles where you had your fighter,
Mm-hmm.
like your monk type, you had
Mm-hmm.
your shield hero, you had your knight, you had your sorceress, your
Mm-hmm.
magic users, you had your healers. So it's very RPG in that
Yep.
moment, and just watching it go, like,
Yeah, she was giving out the hands.
yeah, they all were,
Yep,
honestly,
there
they
they were.
all
Yep.
were. So yes, I liked, I think it was last week's episode. I said I
Mm-hmm.
liked because we were joking a lot during the
Yeah.
episode. And this episode I really liked because it did showcase the problem that I was having
Yeah.
with the episodes leading up to this, where we're not seeing enough of the other hunters do anything.
Yeah.
This time we got to see hunters do shit, and I'm
Yeah.
impressed. So yeah, I'm really appreciative that the anime seems like it's taking a different turn from what you're telling me
Mm-hmm.
from the manhwa itself,
Mm-hmm.
because I like seeing what other people can do too.
Yeah.
We can follow Jinwoo. I'm
Yeah.
so invested in his story and what this all means for him.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to see that, all these other people are involved. How does that also affect him if he's in these groups?
Yeah.
And yeah, those orc designs were really cool, especially that last set.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, it is quite fascinating. It was scary when the messenger orc was like
Mm-hmm.
had to recalibrate. The
Yeah.
system was like rearranging his atoms and shit so that he could speak human language. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, that's a little terrifying, because that means that they can do the system, or the monsters, or whatever type of monster, can do that at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Communication can happen. The system chooses not to allow monsters and humans to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jinwoo's only lucky to be able to understand because the system has bestowed this power on him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's starting to become very intense in a way of knowing that this system is smarter than what people
Mm,
obviously what the people we're watching think it is, right? But
yeah,
we as the audience are peeping the game and like, oh, this
it's getting a little
like
bit scary
yeah,
slash
yeah,
terrifying.
exactly.
Yep.
And
The dread,
yeah,
the anxiety only builds. I can tell you this: the anxiety will only keep building. This they you know, just to attack on some of my thoughts, they nailed this portion of the episode. Like I thought we were gonna get a different cliffhanger, but the pace we're going, I like how this like all developed. Like I found myself getting just a little bit emotional when Homegirl was just like, "Hey, here's my will." Like I remember reading that in the webtoon. I was like, "Damn, that's pretty sad." But then it was like the collective realization and the way that they did it with like silence.
yeah,
That
chills because like I said,
yeah,
it's the face of bravery and the acceptance of death
yeah,
that you just you're
yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah, it was like that. That whole collective like acceptance because it's very different reading it in webtoon, still seeing images and everything. But like, damn, son, with the music, and then she was just like, "Here's my will to take to my family." It was just like the acceptance that look, you didn't ask for any of this. We know you didn't ask for any of this, and we're gonna make sure that you are able to save yourself. Because this is what we signed up for. You know, even with being higher ranks, we knew the dangers that we would get into. You had a leader who obviously is really capable by knowing when to turn around. He wanted all these big achievements, but it's not at the like for the cost for his teammates. You know, he'll turn around and then only to find out that damn, we're locked in here and cursed. And I saw your like when the girls
Mhm,
and the other
mhm,
guy were like everyone's throwing up blood and whatnot because of
mhm.
this curse that's preventing them to leave. Yeah, and then the dread that's filling the air, and it only intensifies because they thought they were going to be able to just rush the boss because they only thought it was just the boss left, even though they saw 50 orcs like standing right behind them. And then you get into this grand room and the OST starts hitting, but then the reality pretty much starts setting in that like
They're not getting out of there alive.
yeah, like
There's just no way.
they're like not even Jinwoo's gonna like get a chance is what they're gonna probably be thinking because like it's all those people that's on the side, and then you can just tell by ranks alone of the people standing around, you know, our main villain in the middle, right? And it's just like, oof, that to be sold it even more so then like I think the other moment I was expecting to happen which would be a little bit further into this particular you know, this particular arc, but I think this sold it. Like all you need to do like, and I mean I believe the next episode is going to take care of everything. I don't think there's going to be a second part per se to this episode because I was like timing it. I'm just like, okay, we're around like 12 minutes into the episode. There's still, I was like, how far are they gonna continue to go with this? And they stopped it just as we meet the boss, which I think is perfect because now the next episode is gonna essentially be around 18 minutes, 20 minutes of whatever is going to happen, and I ain't gonna spoil that because that's next week's episode, and I think you're going to enjoy it. But yeah, I think you know, like I know that was one of your main concerns about the others doing stuff, right? And as you can see,
Yeah, and now
Jinwoo,
I'm sitting
yeah.
here wishing no one did anything. I don't want them to die.
Yeah, yeah, you can see Jinwoo's dilemma as well because there's still like Jinwoo is good at heart because he knows that this is their mission. This is, you know, their um yeah, essentially this is just their mission, right? And for him to interfere would cause a lot of issues, but at the same time he doesn't want anyone to die on his watch because especially because he figures that these people didn't leave him behind. They've been, you know, pretty much trying to protect him. They just don't know that he's much stronger than what he initially is. And then they even look out for him by saying that, listen, you have to be the one to live. So yeah, it creates an interesting dynamic that next week, I think for a lot of people, this portion in the webtoon, I know for me, this was like my favorite, one of my favorite portions in the webtoon because it just
Mhm,
establishes the stakes and stuff like that and then raises
mhm.
them. And then, yeah, it's what to come after this. So, but yeah, this was for me when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, this is like this was like my favorite portion at that time in the West, before I even knew what was going on. Like everything else was building up to it. That stuff was great. But it's what happens now, I guess, in the next episode and how they handle that, and then snowball from there, pretty much.
I
So,
also just want to say that I think it's also important that they showcase the humanity
mm,
within the miners and the hunters compared to
mhm,
everything for a lot of what we've gotten thus far.
mhm,
Hunters trying to kill each other for
yeah,
more glory and more power. That there, and he's been so bogged down by that
mhm,
that I felt when he got that like reminiscent feeling of that first day and having
mhm,
people actually excited to see him who
mhm,
care about him, because even the miners are just like, eat lunch with us, we got you.
yeah,
No, you don't understand what this job is like, we don't want you to, go do that,
yeah,
it's too much for you. Like, everyone in this episode is looking out for him.
yeah,
And I think like I think that's really lovely to show, considering everything, a lot of the story that we've gotten thus far.
yeah,
And I think it's important to show that from, like you mentioned, and
mm,
what Jinwoo remembered, that people abandoned him, that there are still good people out there who are looking
mhm,
out for him and they don't know him, who want
yeah,
him around, right? And that even if it's not, like the guilds who want him for his
mhm,
power, they
mhm,
want him because they're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you make the job a little easier, but we like
mhm,
working with you. It's
yeah,
nice having you around, kid. And
yeah,
it's just that nice feeling. So I'm sure that also weighs on him too, all
mhm,
those good feelings going into this dungeon and having this team go, yeah, kid, we got to get you out of here.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm sure, like, if I'm writing it with the mindset of my main character going, yeah,
mhm,
he's kind of weighed down by the joy of it and the
mhm,
guilt of what's happening. So
yeah.
yeah,
Especially because now he has power,
right.
and he like I think my other favorite part is like he got rid of one of the orcs that he was like, you're strong, you're too
Hmm.
strong for this group, you
Hmm.
gotta go.
Yeah,
And Mage peep it, and she's just like, yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing. So
yeah,
yeah, your
yep.
secret's safe with me, pretty much type
For
of deal.
now,
For
for
now,
now,
for now,
for
for
now.
now. Yeah. Oh man. Well, next week is going to be a doozy. Um, yeah, I really like felt the anxiety, even though like
Yeah.
I've read this like years ago. Just rewatching it, and then just like I think, yeah, like man, when she handed that note to him, and I'm just like, damn son, like just feel so bad. But
Yeah.
next week, it will be it will be a doozy. That's all I can say. It'll be a doozy
Okay.
for what is yet to come. Obviously, that's like giving off major hints that there's going to be. I mean, there's no way that there's not going to be a major battle like next week, right?
Right.
Unless they pull some bullshit and be like, hey, we're gonna have we're gonna take a week off and then come back.
Or we're gonna take a
Bro,
week off, but not really. What we're gonna do is focus on other characters of the story right now. And we'll get back to
bro,
this in 2 weeks.
like y'all better not. That's
Shows
all I can
shows
say.
that do that drive me crazy, and a lot of
In
shows do
fucking
that.
sane, bro. Y'all better not do that. All right, but it's funny because episode 6 last year, I was like, oh, we have that cliffhanger, and then we get, I mean, episode 5 last year we had the cliffhanger, and then we get to episode 6, and that's when he finally kills a human, and they executed that really well. So I'm hoping the same thing will happen for this one, because all right, you know what? Let me stop. I'm yapping at this. I'm too yapping too much. So next week, folks, soul leveling. Yeah, we'll catch you guys for episode 6. So that's it. Stay tuned. I already know.